Yo, what's up guys, BeatsbyHcien, in case this is your first time, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I mixed the Afropiano song that I showed in the previous video, because I noticed one or two people wanted me to show a mix breakdown, and I'm not only going to be showing you how I mixed it, I'm also going to be showing you steps to take so that you can have a nice crispy vocals when you're mixing, and also some tips and tricks. And yeah, without wasting much time, let's get straight into the video. So yeah, when it comes to mixing, the first thing you want to do, but let me first of all play what we are going to be doing today. And we're going to be using some drums just so that we can have a little bit of vibe, you know, because when I'm mixing my vocals, I like to like load in only my drums, maybe that I put in a bass, and just so that I can get a feel of what the whole song is sounding like, if you understand what I'm saying. So
I'm in the mood though. Take all my money, go matter. That what you think of. But I know if you finish for conga.
So I'm going to be breaking down how I did that, breaking down the singing vocals.
For my body, me no one know.
I'm going to also be showing you guys how I did the crowd vocals.
I'm a piano.
And yeah, some steps. So let's get straight into it. So yeah, the first thing you want to do when you are mixing your vocals, you want to make sure that you already have a good recorded vocal. So this is one mistake that most people do. You know, they're trying to like mix a song and you didn't take your time to record your vocals properly. You have to put it in mind that the mixing starts from the input. The mixing starts from what you've recorded. You cannot record something that is not nice and you want to make it like superb. So you want to make sure you have a filter. If you have a mic and you don't have a pop filter, you can get this, something like this, the small one, you know, to put on your mic so that you can remove the explosive. You can get the big icon I've showed you guys in the video, or if you have none of them and you're on a low tight budget, you can use like a towel, you know, just cover it and let your artist sing. That's going to help you reduce the sounds. And second thing you have to put in mind, you want to make sure that the environment you are recording your vocals is as quiet as possible, so that you're going to reduce the amount of background noise that's going to be there. Very essential. And when you're recording as well, maybe I can use my phone to video this particular one. So yeah, you want to make sure that you can see as I'm talking right now, it's showing green on my sound card. So you want to make sure that's showing green and not showing red. You know, whatever sound card you use, red just simply means that it is clipping. So you want to make sure of that. So I just have to like put that in real quick so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So you want to make sure everything is properly set up for your recording. Set your input, set your output. Some artists, they want to hear themselves when they're recording. Some artists, they don't want to hear themselves when they are recording. So you also want to put that into consideration. So after that has been done, you've properly recorded your track, which is this for instance. The next thing you want to do is to clean in your vocals when you're mixing. So for some songs, for some artists, they probably like the sound, but me personally, I don't really like it, so I take it out. But for some artists that really like it, what I just basically do is to reduce it, you know. So you reduce it. So as you can see on my screen here, what I did in all these holes that you're seeing, I'm just basically taking out the sound so that it's going to be clean. So you do that, you take out any SSCs that you want that you use on the particular channel that you want to mix that is not needed. So that's the second thing you want to do. The third thing you want to do, which is to clean your vocals. So after you've done that, for me, what I always do is I start with my vocal chain. So you can, you know, purchase vocal chain if you have the money, but if you don't have, still follow the procedure. So you can load in whatever vocal chain template that you have that's going to be a starting point for you. And remember, whenever you're loading in your vocal chain, you want to have it in mind that whatever mic that they use and whatever environment that they recorded such track is different from yours. So you want to also take that into consideration and put that in mind. So yeah, I put in my vocal templates, and so I'm going to take off everything that we have here. the first thing I want to do, if you use Ableton, you want to make sure that you have a utility on your channel. That should be the first thing on your channel if you use Ableton. The reason being, this is what you'll be doing your automation. If you want to do your gain automation, if you want to do your panning automation, maybe you want something to go to the left, you want something to go to the right, this is where you're going to be doing it. Because I noticed in Ableton, if you do automation in this particular part and maybe along the line of mixing you decide to change something, I noticed that the automation automatically goes off. So for that reason, I always have a utility on my channel, and this is basically what I use to do my automation. So that's the first thing on my vocal chain. Yeah, if you use Ableton, that's the reason why you want this on, which has a gain, and this is the panning. So if you want to do some automation, you can do that. So the next thing I put on my channel is a noise suppressor. Whatever noise suppressor that you have. For me, I'm using NS1, and I'm just basically using this to kind of reduce the background noise regardless of how quiet it is. So I basically use mine between 0 to 20. It depends on the background noise. If it's too much, you can go higher, but remember, the more you're taking it higher, the more noise you are reducing. Also know that you are also reducing the quality of the vocal, so you want to also take note of that. So yeah, I put in a noise suppressor, a noise, just to like bring it down a bit, and this is what it sounds like by itself.
I'm in the mood though. My morning come matter.
So without the noise, with such suppression,
I'm in the mood though. My morning come matter.
So you can already see that there's not much noise, but I'm just doing that just to create that. So the second thing you want to do is to add in a tuning plugin, right? So you've added in your noise suppressor. You want to make sure that the vocals is sounding on tune before you start adding any other thing. And you can also use a manual tuning tool, which is the Melodyne. You can click link above here and go watch the video where I showed you guys how to use Melodyne. I use that in most cases where the artist is not really good in singing, so I help to manually correct the pitch so that he's singing on tune before I add in an auto tune. But that's not going to be needed here, but in case you want that, you can go watch the video, because yeah, make it sound properly well, and I think it's something that I can work with. So I added in the waves tune. For me, that is what I'm using for this particular track and most of my track, but sometimes I use auto tune, you know, but for most of the time I use waves tune real time. And your tuning plugin, you want to make sure the key, you're setting it to the key of the song. You know, you want to set it to the key of the song. Very essential. So the key of the song is on F sharp minor, and yes, you can see I'm using the speed, which is the 5.9, the note transition, which is the 4.8. The lower you go with this tune up, the more tuning you get. And for Mickey, I'm using the auto in the range. That's the only thing that I touched here, and this is what it sounds like with the auto tune. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to bring up the volume so that we get to hear it more.
I'm in the mood though. My morning come matter. That what you think oh. But I know if you finish for conga.
So you can see we're having a little bit of tuning, but we also want the vocals to sound a bit natural. So this also depends on the artist and also depends on the type of song that you're working on. For this particular song, I wanted it to have a little bit of natural feel on the vocals. So yeah, the next thing I always add on my channel is an Vox. And like I always say in most of my videos, this is if you want to use this, if you don't want to use this, it's fine. So what I just do in this is I load it in, take it to -3, then I reduce this based on what I want. This is also acting as a compressor, if I'm not mistaken. So that is what it does. This is what we have.
I'm in the mood though.
So let's take it back to -15. So you see the vocals came up a bit.
I'm in the mood though. My morning come matter. That what you think oh. But I know if you finish for conga. Let's go.
After doing that, as you can see, the next thing I added into this, I think we're not using the Mani EQ for that. I only use Mani EQ when I'm trying to debox my vocals. So when I've done that, the next thing I add is an EQ. What will we doing with an EQ? We're cutting frequencies that we know that we don't like in the beats, trying to make them sound nice, you know. And the first thing you want to do when you're using an EQ, you basically want to roll out the lows because this is where the bass is going to be, and you want to be careful while you're rolling out the lows so you don't make the vocals too light. And around there, like 300, 400, 500 hertz, you can try to look around that part. Nice. Here, if you hover in, you'd see below here the number. So around the 200, 300, 500, you want to go in and try to take out the boxing sound, which sounds just like this. And how you do that on far filter is just take up something, roll it up, and look for what you want. And you can also solo it, you know. And sometimes when I do this as well, I'm listening to where I'm hearing this sound. So let me play that. So I scroll in and I look for frequencies that I don't like. And in this case, these were the frequencies that I didn't really like. And this is called a subtractive EQ. So the first thing you want to do when you're EQing is you want to first of all subtract the frequencies that you don't like. Make sure you're using a different EQ to subtract and a different EQ for addictive. So what we're doing here is basically subtracting EQ, taking out things we don't like, and that is what I did here. And if you want a special EQ video and compressor video, drop a comment below and I'll make sure I make a special video for you guys so you understand. I'm just breaking down the mixing and also explaining steps to take. So after I've done EQ, and this is my own process like I said, so yeah, the next thing I add is the CLA vocals. And honestly, most times when I drop the CLA 2A, I don't really do anything. I just drop it just to get a warm feel and the vibe it gives, you know, sometimes just to increase the vocals more. So yeah,
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of?
So for this particular one, you can see I'm compressing it in this case, so it changes over time based on what I want. I can even reduce this a bit.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of?
Yeah, most time I'm targeting at the -1. So let's just do that for this. That's just the only thing I touch here, just the peak reduction. That's all. The next thing I'm adding to this is an hour compressor stereo, and this is what I use to compress my vocal. So the threshold is just basically saying you don't want, once the vocal goes above this line, you want it compressed, you know, you want to take it down and make sure you even in the vocal so it's not going up and down all over the place. You want to make sure the dynamics are even. If you want a special video on compressor, please let me know. I'm going to make that video. I don't want this video to be too long. And I'm using a 3:1 ratio, and my attack is a 7.68. My release is a 139, and this is what it sounds like.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of? But I know if you finish for conga,
so I'm going to bring in like the drums just so that we can get more vibe.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of? But I know if you finish for conga.
So after we've done that, the next thing we're going to look at is, after you're adding a compressor, the next thing I do is adding CLA vocals, and I'm using this as a parallel compression. Parallel compression is just basically when you over compress and you start mixing in the vocals to blend in with the actual vocal. So for me, I use CLA vocals, and in this case, I am owning the sub. I need a little bit of bass, I need a little bit of treble, the top side, and the compressor, I leave it at spank, and I'm using the 8.0. So this is what this compress here is what I use to do the parallel compression. That is what I do, and yeah, this is what you have.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of? But I know if you finish for conga,
you can see it's very compressed, and that is what I was going for this particular song. And the next thing I added is a budge feed EQ, and this is what I'm using to take out a little bit of the lows add in the presence, and add in the air. So when I load in this plugin, these 3 knobs is basically what I do use, and this is what you get.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of. But I know if you finish for conga.
And you can hear you getting that high, crispy stuff, but we're still going to take it down along the way. So this is what I use to get that crispy feel. Then I use some DSRs, which I'll show you along the line. So after I have, EQ'd, I have compressed, done a little bit of parallel compression. I add the Budge EQ, and I add Saturn in. And honestly, what I just use here is just the Magic BM preset. I don't do any other thing here. And yeah.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of. But I know if you finish for conga. Somebody yak me like oh. You will have had time, let's go. The way you move from me like no. The way you move from me like oh my god, oh my god.
So you can hear what that sounded like, right? So the next thing I do, moving on, is I add in an SSL channel, and most of the time I drop these for the if the sound it gives, because whatever VST plugin you load into your vocal chain, it gives a sound already. So I add this to get this warm analog feel. The lows are chords here also, and this is like a default for me because I don't really do much with this SSL channel. This is not a must, have. What you just want to understand in this whole mix, if you have to take home anything, is to make sure you have the proper recording. After having the proper recording, you want to make sure you clean your vocals, then you manual or auto-tune, then you add a little bit of EQing, then you add a little bit of compressing. Honestly, mixing is all about EQ and compressor once you have a good vocal. So whatever thing you see I'm adding here is just basically based on taste and what I'm going for, and if you like it as well, you can use it. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it, but this is how I mix this particular track. So let's keep moving on. So for the SSL, as you can see, I didn't really do much here, just the flat out stuff. So the next thing I added is a vitamin, and this one as well, I just loaded in, and I don't do anything well. I don't really touch much here, honestly. So this is what it sounds like.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of. But I know if you finish for conga. Somebody yak me like oh.
Can you hear the DSing is already coming out? The S syllables are already coming out. And for this vitamin, honestly, I don't really do anything. I'm not going to lie to you guys to make it look like I'm doing some voodoo. I just dropped this one day when I was mixing, and I just like what it sounded like, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to keep using this on my channel. So there's no right or wrong way mixing. Just do what works. Basically, just do what works. So this vitamin, I just dropped it and I liked it, and I've been using it ever since then. And yeah, I had to like do a little bit of de-essing,
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of.
You can see?
But I know if you finish for conga. Somebody yak me like oh. You will have had time, let's go.
You can see a little bit of difference, and you can use whatever de-essing plugin that you are used to. For me, it's the Pro DS, or I use the DSR from Waves as well. I added 2 DSRs, and I'm de-essing 2 different frequencies around this range for the second one, and around this range for the first one. And this is what it sounds like.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of. But I know if you finish for conga. Somebody yak me like oh.
And when I finished de-essing and I sent it to the artist Mickey, he was like, he could still hear a little bit of de-essing. So I had to go back to my old trusty DSR from Waves, and I de-ess. So de-essing is what I put at the final part of my mixing. So
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of. But I know if you finish for conga. Somebody yak me like oh. You will have had time, let's go. The way you move from the
so that's it. And the next thing I did was to add in like a delay. So let's listen to the delay as well. And you can see I did a little bit of automation for my delays, and I emphasized more that I wanted the delay to be a bit louder around this part. So yeah, when you're mixing as well, you want to work with automations. Maybe some places you want the delay to duck. You can also do this by adding your delay to your return or a bus, and then adding a compressor. So you compress the delay to your vocals. Basically what you're saying is whenever you sing, the delay ducks, and whenever your vocal goes off, the delay comes back forward. So but in this case, I put the delay on my channel because that's what I like to do for my own personal reasons, and I just manually went in and told it where I wanted the delay to come out. So let's listen.
I'm in the mood though. They call my money, come matter. That what you think of.
So the reason why I did that was because there was a little bit of space in the middle, so I had to fill it up with a little bit of delay. So that was why I increased this around the side. So moving on, the next one that I did was this right here, which I'm going to re-enable, and I just use this automation to add a different delay effect that I wanted around this particular side. So let's listen so you understand what it sounded like.
Let's go. The way you move.
So I wanted that. Let's go. So I added a ping pong and I faded it, and I just added that automation because I wanted that only around that side. So let's show that properly so we can understand more.
But I know if you finish for Conga, somebody me like go. Let's go. The way you move from the way you move from oh my god.
So after doing that, the next thing I added on my channel is reverb, and I'm always using the hybrid reverb from Ableton, and you can use whatever reverb that you're used to. And my pre-delay is basically on 10.0 milliseconds. The wet knob is on 25. That's the only two things I did, and like I said, you can use whatever one you feel comfortable with, but this is what I use for this particular track. So let's see what that sounds like.
But I know if you finish for Conga, somebody me like go. Let's go. The way you move from
Get out with the second vocal.
The way you move from oh my god. Where you bend the show my car. Oh my god. Spend my money, go later. Show my car. Bandu for your bum. Show my car. Baby, ready to this out. I'm a piano.
You can hear how the vocal is already banging, And for this backup right here, we sound like this.
Yeah.
I'm using the same vocal channel. The only difference is just the delay. And for this one, I'm using the 2 for this, and that's all. Everything is the same. Just to give that, I'm a piano. So yeah, after doing that, the next thing I did, I think, let's listen to the 2 backups here.
No, I'm a piano.
So those ones, same mixing. I didn't do much there. Same mixing down to FJB's vocals.
You scale away for my body, me no one know. And then there for my body and soul. Baby, you body come at you, girl, you know. Feel me na coco. Ole ko me la show ma. Every day you know me wanting more of you.
So yeah, for this one, the FJB vocals as well, same mixing, but a little bit of difference. As you can see, some automations around here because I'm using the normal hybrid reverb for the normal vocals, and the second part when he was doing the backup, which I really liked, I used Valhalla Shimmer, and I'm just using the color mode dark, the pitch mode dual, the reverb mode to be big stereo. My mix is on 0.39. You know what, you can just screenshot this and go try it out and see what it sounds like for you. And
spend my money, call it on. Ooh, bando for your baby, ready to this.
but you can see around there as well, I did some automation I wanted the vocals to go down because that's a backup and not the lead, and I'm using it on the same channel. So I didn't want it to drag with his lead vocals. You get? So that was the reason why I did a little bit of automation around this side, just to reduce that particular vocals and, you know, balance it at least. So you can also, you know, automate and low volumes, you know, just be creative and make sure everything sits well. And you can see I'm also using this. You see, from the beginning I told you guys I always drop utility for automation, and that is what I'm using here to make the vocals go left and right. I'm using the balance, and I just did this and makes it go left and right, then from here right to left. So
God, oh my God, where you bend the show back on.
You can see how it's moving.
Oh my God, spend my money, cool it.
Second one is in the middle.
Bandu for your bum.
And you can see the third one goes from the right to the left, and that was just how I did that. And I just automated the Valhalla to come around this side, and I automated the hybrid reverb to go off. Let's re-enable that to go off around that part because I needed only the Valhalla reverb to shine, and that's that for that. I think that's basically all for my crowd vocals. What I did was we recorded 3 different vocals, and it was me, FJB, Mickey, and Bonamax, and we were just doing the Amapiano, and I'm using the same vocal chain, and we just recorded the same time on one mic.
I'm a piano.
And I added a reverb without a reverb.
I'm a piano.
So you can see I added a reverb. I made it 41, and we did another one here. We did another one here as well. So we all did 3 different takes, and crowd vocals we all were recording at the same time. I just held the mic and we spread out different places, and we're just shouting into the mic. And I just added reverb, hybrid reverb, 41, and that was how we got this.
I'm a piano.
So for this second part that I wanted the whole drums to, you know, shine, I just added auto filter. You know I love auto filter so much, and I did the underwater effect on the group, the main boss of the backup, the crowd backup, and that was how I was able to get that underwater effect with the crowd. So yeah, that was what I did for the backup, and I didn't do much. I'm using the same vocal chain on every of the channels. I'm just basically mixing the EQing it based on what it should sound like. And like I said, for the crowd vocals, what we did were 4 of us recorded the Amapiano, 3 different takes. We did it together, the first one together, the second one together, the third one, and I panned one to the right, panned one to the left, took those low, so they are just adding as a support. Then the main one, I put it in the middle. Yeah.
Spend my money, cool it down. Show my bandu for your bum. Show my baby ready to this out. I'm a piano.
So yeah, that was basically how this whole beat was. The vocals were mixed. For you that you asked me to make the video, I hope you drop a comment below. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things on this. If you want more mixing tutorials, different styles, let me know in the comment section. Like I always say, this is not like the best way. I'm just showing you guys how I did it. And mixing, there's no right or wrong way. What matters is it comes out well. So you don't want to stress yourself. You can start with a template like I showed you, and yeah, that's just basically for me. Make sure you keep streaming happy. I know. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Remember to always stay productive. Peace.